Hey guys, Hobo4Craft, aka MrHobo, and here we are in the second game of MTW Dimaga versus Slayers MMA. We are in Shoutcast Plateau, and if you haven't seen the first game, go ahead and check that out before I do spoil anything for you guys. In the bottom right, we will have Dimaga, the blue Zerg, the strong Ukrainian player. And in the bottom right, we do have Slayers MMA, the arguably even stronger Korean Terran, though Dimaga did just take him out in a pretty convincing fashion. MMA did go for a slightly risky playstyle. He went for a third that was very early and way spread out from his base, and he also made a couple mistakes like letting his army wander into the middle of the map without even siege mode. So a little bit of a sloppy play from MMA, but Dimaga really just played with great game sense, and it looks like everything's going pretty normally so far. MMA coming down here probably is going to build that barracks. It looks like he's going to do that. Right now he's still making SCVs, so it's not going to be an 11-11. He's not going to be hyper aggressive, but 3 barracks wall off here after some 2 barracks aggression is really common. It allows you to expand early very safely because there are no Zerglings that are going to get by 3 of these barracks, and bailing busting that is really difficult. So it's something that you just plainly do not see at high level play. And Dimaga is going to be going for that 16 hatch. He went for that last game. We could probably see him going for a 17 pool again. And it looks like he is, and I don't know how I feel about this. It's just really risky, but he does like to play like this. If he does see any barracks going up, he normally just sends 7 drones down to defend. So I mean, if your drone micro is good enough, you can play pretty greedy like this, because especially on Shoutcast Plateau, you have a high likelihood to face bunkers. If there are 3 bunkers that go down here, which is really common, your ramp is blocked off, you can't get any surrounds, and it's really hard to destroy the SCVs that are building those bunkers. So effectively you're trapped in your own base, but just about all the bunkers can reach your expo, so it's really a nasty build, a really nasty tactic. But it seems as though it's going to be paying off for Dimaga, because MMA is actually going for the style that he went last game, which actually was a fast expand as well. And the interesting thing is that he's actually not blocking off here, which is kind of weird, but I think he's just waiting until he has the resources to be able to throw down 2 more barracks, and then he's going to move down. Because if he just had 1 barracks here, he wouldn't have a wall off here or here. Well, I guess he's just throwing down a bunker. He's getting 2 gases. This is definitely why we're not seeing more barracks. He's going for a gas-heavy build. And it could possibly be Banshee play, and I say this because normally you don't see 2 gases quickly unless he's really going for something that's really gas heavy, and normally it's going to be Banshee play, probably with Cloak in this situation, and with this extra base, this expo here, it's even more more likely that he is going for that. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. But in the meantime, Dimaga has started his metabolic boost. He doesn't really need it right now anyway. It will help him get map control, take out annoying Marines like we see here. But as far as defense, he doesn't need it. And Zerg is all about defense and conserving their resources until they really need them to build an army. And in the meantime, they're just going to be making drones on drones. But Dimaga sees this build and he says, you know what? I bet you anything MMA is going for an expansion, and he is going to take his third, which is the very appropriate response. It might also be likely that he just saw this gas, saw how long it's been mining, and said, you know what, if he's mining gas, chances are he's not going to come at me with a lot of Marines. So either way, a smart play. It's the correct play. He might not even know exactly what's going on, because if we look at his vision, he doesn't know for sure that it is an expansion, so it's kind of risky, but this is a calculated risk. We do have that starport coming out for MMA. He's getting another command center. Korean play, it's really common for them to just, you know, make command center after command center and try to expo constantly, which is, you know, becoming part of the metagame more and more for Terrans. And it's kind of scary as Zerg, because you really have to react appropriately and stay at least one base ahead of your opponent. But we do have this Hellion Force from the reactored Hellions, and we are also going to be getting those Banshees, and it is going to be Cloak as well. So MMA is gearing up for some pretty heavy pressure. In the meantime, we can see the Harvester difference. Dimaga is pretty ahead because he's Zerg, you know, and he got that expansion up pretty early, and he's going to skyrocket ahead as well, just because he's going to have this third base, though he might cut production on drones just to be able to deal with these Hellions and Banshees if he does realize they're coming, which is unlikely until they're actually in his base. So he needs to attack pretty soon. Looks like he's doing that. 1 or 2 spores in his base would be great, but he's, like I said, I don't think he knows what's going on exactly, but he will be able to make an Overseer, which obviously is a very good thing. And as we see, he's not even saturating this as of right now because of these Hellions on the field. So that can just tell you the map control that it gives you, and kind of the threatening power that the Hellions have in this case, especially if you use them well. And it looks like MMA is actually going to delay this attack until he has 2 Banshees, at which time he will also have Cloak. So good timing there. And in the meantime, he has caught up in saturation, has even surpassed Dimaga, and with those mules and that extra orbital, he's going to be way ahead. And if he does damage with these Banshees, Dimaga is going to find himself quite far behind. But Dimaga did have a wall of Overlord, so he should be able to respond with an Overseer. We see it here. And he has 3 total Queens, 1 from this macro hatch, which is just a really smart thing to get. You know, just about on every map against Terran. It's not a bad idea at all. Oh, and the Spore Crawler almost goes down, but not a big deal. I thought that was a Spire for a second, which then it would have been a huge deal. But we have adequate defenses. And we even have a little squad of Zerglings waiting for him if he does choose to bring Hellions over there. Now what he's going to need is more defense over here. He's going to need a Spine Crawler or 2. And a Queen as well. It's like one of these Banshees already ran out of energy, and you know, MMA is just going to pick off what he can. He just destroyed about 75 gas worth of units, not bad, for free. And now he's going to be going at these drones. There goes 1, 2, 3. Could we get 4? Yes, make it 5. And this poor lonely drone in the corner will be the 6th. Very nice pick off, and now we're going to see that because of that, you know, MMA was able to equalize for a second. And Dimaga's really going to feel uncomfortable on this 3rd extended base until, which he does have now, he has Mutalisk. So now he can kind of retake map control. He's going to start to spread himself out more comfortably. From here he's just going to get more upgrades, as we can see in the production tab. And he's going to gear up either to take another expansion and bring this game even further into the metagame, or he can try to go for a big push and deny MMA the chance to allow this to go on and try to keep expanding himself. But we do have mech play going on here. Kind of goes without saying, if you do see that Banshee play coupled with Hellions, it is so hard to just transition back into a bio, and it doesn't really make sense, especially when you have that map control, which is so important. You know, you want to try and keep your opponent on equal bases when you are mech, which, you know, MMA has not done. But he's done a good job thus far of trying to keep Dimaga on one base, but now we can see he's basically insta-saturated a whole base. But against Mutaling, you know, this type of playstyle can be really good unless you have a ton of Banelings and your name is Nesty. But that being said, we do have almost 2-2 upgrades compared to the 1-1 upgrades for Dimaga versus his opponent, MMA. So it's going to be all about positioning. They're going down a ton of Zerglings right away, and these Hellions are being brought back to the lines, and almost nothing died, and that is terrible because now MMA can just repair things, and that was just not cost efficient at all for Dimaga. He's going to try to take out some Hellions. He's going to take out try to take out something, but he still doesn't have anything dead. Where are his Mutalisks? They are nowhere to be seen. And oh, this is just terrible. It looks like this base just might get taken out. And these Zerglings will die very quickly. And I don't think Dimaga actually has a way to come back from this, because he just got really way too eager with that attack. And yeah, he will call a good game. So in this middle, when MMA was coming in, Dimaga made he broke that cardinal rule of Zerg, which is to wait to attack for as long as possible. If he had just waited back and spent maybe, you know, 400 more resources of minerals and gas on mutas, or just waited for like 16 more banelings, you know, we can see so many of these stores were in the red before they were repaired. And you know what, he had a lot of time. He could have danced around with Zerglings, so it's hard to say. But moving on to game 3, and hope you guys enjoyed this one. Hobo4Craft signing out.